Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And 12.1, they said there were going to be class changes on the previous announcement with literally one sentence. I didn't expect them to be available today. And there is a metric ton of them. The most amount of change ever imaginable? I don't really know. It's that crazy. But as always, if you want to make sure you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. But we gotta go, bro. We gotta jet because there's a lot. Okay, the first thing for classes is that they are increasing player health and creature damage by 25%. Health consumable values have also been adjusted. Their notes for this is we've decided to increase player health and enemy damage by 25% for max level players. We've made similar adjustments at the start of Midnight and also in early Dragonflight. Our intent for this is for damage to be less spiky and for healing gameplay to be more satisfying. When healing is too bursty, enemies have to be tuned to deal spiky damage, which requires quick reactions to survive, and we feel that leads to unsatisfying and more stressful gameplay. While we are increasing overall creature damage with this change, we are hand-tuning encounter abilities to deal appropriate damage alongside these changes to meet our goals. We are also making adjustments to several healing and absorb spells for DPS and tank specializations so that they retain their relative impact. I do have concerns that this is great for Mythic Plus, but are you going to hand tune it for PvP as well? Because if you just increase the stamina, then I'm very worried that nobody's going to take damage, and it's going to be very and healers will still be able to top people very easily with the current pacing. I'm a bit worried. I don't know if it's enough on its own as a blanket. Again, they've said this type of change in the past, and I don't know if it's ever actually successfully happened. So we're going to have to see. There's a lot of stuff in there, like the hand tuning part of this. That's very important. But if for PvP, it would require the same level of hand tuning. In the Curse of Ulatek, we are going to be lowering throughput for major DPS cooldowns for several specs. Wait, what? Lowering the throughput of the cooldowns? And increasing their steady state damage. Are we actually doing this? We were going to be doing this at the start of the expansion, I thought, but we're actually doing it for PvE too? When damage done during cooldowns is significantly higher than damage outside of cooldowns, the pacing of combat outside of cooldowns feels sluggish. Our priority is ensuring that cooldowns continue to be high impact and fun moments, and that the damage dealt without cooldowns is effective, and that we maintain texture between specs. We're going to be observing how this plays out on the PTR, and it's possible we will need to make further adjustments or pull back on some of our changes. So this is PTR, everything is subject to change, but I like that so far. All class interrupts such as kick, pummel, and counterspell will now display a mist visual over the target's head if used while the target was not casting a spell. It will also play a separate sound to represent a mist interrupt. This is intended to help players recognize when enemies or allies have used their interrupt ability, even if the spell was not interrupted. In PvP, you see precognition if an interrupt was missed. But in PvE, this is, I would suppose, nice. Okay, so the big goals of the patch are major. Mind you, I will say they have said similar things in the past, and it hasn't quite got there. So we're going to have to see. Blood decays. Permafrost grants a shield equal to 50% of the damage dealt, up from 40. Voracious grants 15% leech, up from 12. Relish and blood healing increased by 25%. Rapid decomposition increases blood plague healing by 85%, up from 50. And sanguinary burst heals you for 18% of the damage dealt, up from 15. And umbilicus eternus absorbs damage equal to 6 times damage dealt by blood plague. So this is just in line with increasing your durability with the stamina increase. For frost decay, your permafrost grants you a shield equal to 35% of the damage dealt. You get nothing, guys. Frost decay's PTR trend continues. Frost decay is getting basically nothing. Unholy decay is getting a complete overhaul, it looks like. Are we even kidding, bro? Unholy decay gets a rework like every week. We're aiming to smooth the gap between cooldown and non-cooldown throughput. Yes. Additionally, we're taking a look at the current summon density of Unholy Death Knight. Oh my god, yes, please don't. Are we going to lower the amount of pets on the screen too? Is this a Christmas miracle? Is this the patch that saves everything? For its rework in Midnight, Unholy Death Knight was reimagined as a summoner of the Scourge, and we're very happy with how it's landed. However, combined with the previous summoning powers from the Rider of Apocalypse hero talent tree, the amount of summons are exceeding the numbers we're comfortable with. It is paramount for us to provide a clear game space for our players, and we felt there was no design space left for us to give more summoning powers without ignoring this core principle. Oh my god, bro. Is this happening? Reanimation renamed the Lord of the Dead, and its secondary effect has been redesigned. When you control 3 Magus of the Dead, you will sacrifice them to summon a Lord of the Dead. Oh my god, so much cooler than spamming me with 10 billion health bars. That's so much cooler. That chain between 2 enemies. Magus with higher remaining duration grant increased power. Apex Talent, Forbidden Knowledge, rank 3 has been updated. Magus of the Dead no longer grants stacking damage to Necrotic Coil and Graveyard. The effectiveness of Putrefy activated by Dread Plague has been increased by 100%, up from 60. So your Apex is getting buffed, I think. Or maybe it's to compensate for the Maguses dropping out. Soul Reaper has been updated. It no longer consumes charge of Putrefy to cast. It now consumes up to 3 lesser ghouls to summon stacks, to summon them instantly. Oh, it's going to summon ghouls. Okay. Unholy Aura has been updated. Magus of the Dead now grants the haste buff on spawn for 15 seconds. Army of the Dead has been updated. Summon or empower lesser ghouls to form an unholy army of 8 for 30 seconds. While active, you command your army through Scourge Strike, executing orders based on nearby enemies instead of summoning lesser ghouls. So you don't summon additional pets. It'll just be those baseline pets. Death's Order, lesser ghouls strike you, or strike with you, dealing shadow damage to your target. So there's more synergy with the pets too. Epidemic Order, lesser ghouls erupt in viscera, dealing shadow damage to nearby enemies. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Menacing Magus now has an additional effect. Your Lord of the Dead Frostbolts chain to 3 additional enemies. Lesser ghouls are getting 10% more damage. Army of the Dead lesser ghouls are getting reduced by 20. Necrotic Coil is getting buffed by 20, and Graveyard is getting buffed by 20 damage. Commander of the Dead now causes Dark Transformation to increase the damage of your summoned creatures by 10 to 20, down from 15 to 30. So nerfing the cooldowns. Ruptured Viscera now deals reduced damage beyond 5. Players other than the Death Knight can now only see up to 3 lesser ghouls. Oh my god, bro. I was just on a rant about this the other day. It was literally like 2 hours of my stream ranting about I don't need to see all their pets. And hopefully now we don't have to see all their pets. They can see their pets. It's cool for them. I don't need to see all of it. Permafrost grants a shield equal to 35%, so above in Permafrost as well. Demon Hunters can apparently wear daggers now. This will allow Devourer Demon Hunters to acquire daggers with intellect on them. Okay, so you're probably only going to do it if you're a Devourer, but you can wear daggers. We are reducing the scaling of Devourer's Mastery. Monster Within to help other stats compete and compensating with an overall ability damage buff. That is really good. Evening out the stats and buffing everything baseline is really good. Between that and a few more targeted changes, we expect damage during Void Metamorphosis to be slightly reduced, while damage outside is significantly increased. Bro, I feel like I'm reading everything I've wanted to ever read, and I'm only like 2 paragraphs in. Mastery, Monster Within has been updated. Bonus damage during Void Metamorphosis will be reduced by 66%, but all your damage is up by 20. Again, to execute on this successfully, the details matter. Like these numbers have to be tested, and they're just numbers on this page, right? It's just a promise right now, but the numbers have to be accurate for this to actually be pulled off. Void Metamorphosis now increases Void Ray damage only by 40%, down from 67. Impending Apocalypse now causes each collapsing star to grant 20% increased damage, down from 30. And Consume damage got buffed by 60%, but not the empowered version. For Havoc Demon Hunter, Demon Blades, Blade Dance, and Chaos Strike now require Warglave's Axis. Oh, so Havoc, you guys can't wear daggers, is what that means. New talent, Never Say Die. Damage increased by 30% while above 50%, and Leech increased by 5 while below 50%. Dash of Chaos has been removed, so not a huge amount for Havoc. Although Havoc isn't like doing crazy amount of damage in its cooldown window, honestly. Like, there's a lot of specs where they actually did achieve that. So let's see, Vengeance here. I'm surprised they didn't talk about Frost Decay damage cooldowns at all, though. Fracture and Soul Cleave now require Warglaive, so you can't wear it as Vengeance either. Charred Warblades will heal you for 5% of the fire damage, so you're just getting stamina buffs, a little bit of healing buffs as well to Vengeance to compensate, like they said, for the tanks with everything that they're doing with the encounters. So just a little bit more sustainability here for Vengeance. For Druids, Matted Fur, I'm surprised these get buffed. So the Absorb effect from Barkskin is getting buffed. And then Heart of the Wild, Wild Growth is also getting buffed. So off healing is going to be a bit stronger here. For Boomkin, our goal for Boomkin and Curse of Ulatek is to emphasize its core gameplay of building and spending and pooling astral power. Isn't that what it was doing already? In Midnight, Balance had a high astral power generation and a lot of free spender procs, which meant there weren't many GCDs left after casting spenders. In Curse of Ulatek, we're reducing astral power generation and the number of free spenders, but increase the damage each spender does. Okay, so you're not going to spend 20 Star Surges to do 2 Star Surges of damage anymore. The intent is to provide more time to react to astral power gain and make pooling astral power outside of Eclipse to spend inside of Eclipse more impactful. We've adjusted some talent points to increase build diversity. I don't know how I like the pooling thing. Like, I don't feel like it worked out too well for Assassination, so I don't know how I feel about that. New passive ability learned at 42, Stellar Protection. If Moonfire and Sunfire are dispelled, Stellar Flare is applied to the target and will generate 12 astral power. Oh, we're getting Dispel Protection. That's nice. Umbral Intensity is being updated. Now increases Wrath and Starfire by 10% at all times. Yeah, the filler spells don't do any damage. I think this makes the talent weaker, though, for PvE. Apex talent, Ascendant Eclipse is rank 2. Astral Smolder damage is reduced to 10 to 20% of critical strike damage, down from 12 to 24. And its duration is being increased. So it's probably the same overall. It just takes longer to do it. You're getting a 4% damage buff, 10% Star Surge, 10% Starfall. They're buffing the off healing a lot. Rejuve, Wild Growth, and Regrowth 25%. Oh my god, we're going to go back to like Mist of Pandaria level of healing on Boomkin maybe. Celestial Fire increases the damage of Sunfire, Moonfire, and Shooting Stars by 10% up from 8. A little bit of a dot buff. And then Orbit Breaker is getting nerfed though, so the Spawn Full Moon is getting nerfed by 10. Touch of the Cosmos, chance to trigger from Wrath reduced to 12 from 15. And chance to trigger from Starfire reduced to 15 from 20. So the proccing free Star Surge is slightly nerfed. Not even by a lot, it seems like. Total Eclipse, chance to trigger increased to 15 to 30. Up from 10 to 20. Oh, that was the one that gives you the double Eclipse. That might make it a bit better. Sculpt the Stars and Astral Communion are swapping positions. I don't remember what Sculpt the Stars is. Is this new? I think it might be. Oh, wait. Cooldown reduction on Eclipse. Okay, so it's really deep in the tree then. A counter aura for Orbit Breaker has been added to show your progress towards casting a full moon. The aura can be tracked in the cooldown manager. Okay, so you can see when it's coming. You wouldn't know who it's hitting. I guess in PvE it doesn't really matter. In PvP it kind of matters. Illune's Chosen. Oh my god. Oh, they're nerfing Starfire. Why are we nerfing Starfire? We just buffed Starfire. It still sucked and now we're nerfing it again? I guess because they buffed it up here or whatever. Bro, Starfire still sucks. At least in PvP. Keeper of the Grove. Bounteous Bloom now extends the duration of Force of Nature Trents by 4 seconds instead of adding a 4th Trent. Good. Get rid of the pets, man. Make them smaller and less of them and make them cooler. Like... Cenarius Might Haste increase reduced to 6 from 8. Oh my god, Keeper of the Grove is getting gutted. Potent Enchantment Haste reduced to 6 from 10. I mean, I guess they're doing this because their stats are going to be so crazy. Like, I already have like the War Within end season stats in season 1 of Midnight, so I mean, maybe this is necessary, but that seems pretty big. I don't even know if Boomkin's getting stronger from this. I feel like Boomkin's going to be in a weird spot after all that. For Feral Druid, Feral updates and Curse of Ulatek are aimed at talent diversity. We like Chomp to be stronger for players who enjoy it, which is the low HP energy regen ability, like a filler, or adjusting some other talents to get their power closer and open up more build. So Saber Jaw's bonus increased to 60 from 50. Focused Frenzy damage, though, is reduced to 15 from 20, so a lot less burst on your Feral Frenzy. Rip and Tear damage bonus is getting increased to 20 from 15. Chomp got a 30% damage buff. I don't know if that's enough. I would have to talk to a Feral Druid main to know exactly what the number there needs to be for that talent to work. Apex Predator's Craving base chance to trigger reduced to 4 from 5, so you're going to get less proc rips. And then they buffed all your off healing. Bro, did Feral Druid really need more? Oh my god, bro, the off healing is disgusting. I guess their goal is that you spend more time below 50%, so like off healing, well, it's not going to like top you instantly, maybe is their idea here, but I feel like the healing is getting buffed way more than anything else. Restoration Druid. We're making several quality of life adjustments to Restoration Druid in this update with the goal of addressing usability issues of Tranquility, Nature Swiftness, and Incarnation Tree of Life. Usability issues? What? We're also making a few adjustments to Swiftman to bring back some of its power as a single punchy target heal. Finally, we'd like to address issues with abundance by redesigning it with a clear threshold of when you should use regrowth. Overgrowth. Nature Swiftness now causes your next regrowth to apply Life Bloom, Rejuvenation, and Wild Growth heal over time effects. So it's just Overgrowth is tied to Nature Swiftness rather than a separate bind. In PvE, obviously, I think this is a big deal, right? But in PvP, you use NS to clone almost exclusively. But I guess it depends on the pacing of the game that they achieve. New talent, Flash of Clarity. Omen of Clarity increases regrowth healing by 40%, now available where Cultivation previously was. And now Cultivation is where Flash of Clarity was. Innervate's being redesigned. Oh, it's going to regenerate mana now, rather than making it free. I like this better. I like the old version that regenerated mana. But is it going to be used on arcane mages? I guess it's still only usable on healers. I think it's cooler like this. There's a different way of using it. You have to use it like on cooldown rather than trying to line it up with your healer's cooldowns to make it free or whatever. But I actually prefer this. This is more old school. Abundance has been redesigned. While you have at least 5 rejuvenations active, regrowth's critical strike chances is increased by 50%. And its mana cost is reduced by 50%? These trees ain't going bro. Tranquility is being updated. It now grows protective roots at your feet, absorbing damage equal to 60% of your health and preventing knockbacks. So you can't. So they're putting the PvP talent in, and you can't get knocked, and you get a big shield, but it's not ice block. Was it because of Mythic Plus you get one shot if you did it or something? I guess it has to be what it is. Incarnation Tree of Life's being updated. Now casts regrowth on up to 3 nearby allies when you initially shapeshift. What? Why does it need... Is it because you just have no time to like pre-hot when you're using the global and these cooldowns and people die? Well, but the whole point is you're slowing the patch down. So why do they need that? Why would they need Tree of Life to instantly heal regrowth if you're going to slow the game down so they shouldn't die instantly, so you shouldn't need the mechanic? No? I don't know. Swiftbend has been updated. Healing increased by 40% of the consumed heal over time effect. Oh my god, Swiftbend's going to be good. Everbloom rank 3 is updated. Its heal effect now triggers when you press Swiftbend, not Soul of the Forest. Verdant Infusion is updated. No longer extends heal over time. What? No more extension? What's the new one? You didn't say what the new one is. Germination is being updated. It no longer increases rejuvenation by 2 seconds. Oh, you have to reapply hots more. Ysera's Gift is being updated. If healing would overheal the druid, the overhealing is transferred to an ally. Was it not doing that? I thought it was already supposed to do that. Spell and ability healing increased by 6%. Wild Goat's getting 20% more healing, and its mana cost reduced. My god, it's going to be overpowered in PvP. Verdancy is getting a 40% healing increase. Reed, you've got a mana cost reduction. Mana cost reduction on everything. Life Bloom regrowth. Passing Seasons reduces Nature Swiftness cooldown now by 15, up from 12. Symbiotic Relationship now highlights itself on the action bar while it's not active to remind you, because I forgot to press that a lot. Germination and Verdancy are swapping positions. That makes Germination easier to get, but I don't know if it's better or not. And then Nature Splendor got removed. I don't really know what to think about that, because like I feel like they're changing too much all at once. It's like, okay, you're going to make the boss mechanics and make the interactions hopefully in PvP as well, where you're not getting one shot. But then you're adding all these mechanics that are like designed around dealing with getting one shot. So is that not going to be counterintuitive where the healers are just going to take no damage because they have counter one shot mechanics, but there's no one shots anymore? I think it might be a problem. I don't know though. Guardian, developers notes, our goals with these Guardian Druid updates are largely to address issues with specialization's damage composition and ability breakdown. They're going to nerf your Apex for the 50th time, dude. In particular, we're reworking Loon Nation in order to resolve its adverse rotational pressure, and our adjustments to Gory Fur and Wild Guardian are intended to incentivize more balance between rage spenders, as well as distribute the impact of Apex talent across longer duration and broader good. This is good. Like, it's bad that your Apex talent is literally like all your damage. Gory Fur's redesign. Iron Fur has a chance to make your next Maul, Raze, or Ravage free. Huh? Maul, Raze, or Ravage has a chance to make your next Iron Fur free. What the that's so broken. What? That's just the Boomy talent, but now it's for bears. Wild Guardian's being redesigned, not yet implemented. Spending Rage has a chance to awaken a Guardian Spirit for 8 seconds, which attacks a nearby enemy. Is it a goddamn pet? Is this a pet? We just talked about removing pets. Is this a pet? And generates 3 Rage when you cast Thrash or Mangle. Mangle and Maul deal 20 to 40 additional nature damage for 12 seconds. Your mastery is increased by 3 to 6. What the when a spirit is awakened, the cooldown... I feel like this is just as good as the old one, no? When a spirit is awakened, the cooldowns of Thrash and Mangle are reset. After casting Berserker Incarnation, Guardian of Ursoc gain 2 charges of Wild Guardian. Wild Guardian causes your next cast of Maul to call in a spirit. Is this just like the Ellie Shaman hero talent? Like that? Is that what it's going to be? Like the little spirits flying around with you, casting extra Mauls with you? Is that just taking the Shaman, the Farseer hero talent? That's kind of what it sounds like. Brambles are going to absorb more damage, so they're buffing your healing as well, making you more durable, like, in line with the rest of the tanks, it looks like. More absorption effects, more healing effects, Lunar Beam healing, so just everything across your kit. Illune's chosen for hero talents. Lunar Beam will now cause you to leech 12% of damage from 10, so just survivability. Augmentation's in here. Are they going to gut you guys because of PvE? The additional stopping power created by duplicate cast upheavals was more warping the dungeon gameplay than desired and can be frustrating in some situations due to uncontrolled timing. Bro, I like it in PvP though, bro. You summon in the clones, they're just knocking people up over and over and over. Duplicate upheaval casts by your duplicate no longer knock enemies into the air. Oh my god, it's completely gone. Living Flame healing increased by 25%. Verdant Embrace by 25%. They're just buffing hybrid healing. Bro, I am concerned that the game... I don't know what to think of what the game pacing is going to be, because this is going to require a huge amount of delicate hands-on tuning to where this isn't just going to be no one takes damage the whole time for 20 minutes. That's the danger of doing this, is that it has to be done right, or the game just feels like no one's dying the whole time. Chrono Warden, double time has been updated. The additional stats granted when Ebonmite critically strikes now lasts 15 seconds. Modified by Mastery, double time's functionality with Prescience is unchanged. Can we make it so Ebonmite doesn't fall off when you're CC'd? It's so annoying. The behavior of Ebonmite critical strike stat bonus lasting for the full duration of Ebonmite put more emphasis on tracking Ebonmite's critical state than desired. Created unintuitive decision making regarding whether to recast it or not. So just trying to make it easier and buffing your healing. Devastation's Apex talent, while powerful, hasn't been a gameplay affecting as we'd hoped. We're redesigning the rank 3 effect to overwrite Dragon Rage with limited number of uses of a new powerful spell. Okay, so what are you doing? Rank 3 redesigned. When Dragon Rage ends, Rising Fury persists for 4 seconds per stack, and Dragon Rage becomes Unbound Flame. Unbound Flame may be cast 4 times. What the? So it's like the hero talent for Hunter. What the heck is it called? Sentinel. It's going to transform your cooldown to an extra ability that you can shoot damage with. So Unbound Flame, exhale destructive flame, critical striking for fire damage to target nearby enemies. It's just an instant damage, but it's going to hit really hard. That's what it looks like. And it gives you Essence Burst. Oh, God. That sounds fun, but that's going to be... Tyranny is an updated. It now interacts with Unbound Flame, causing Unbound Flame to always gain the maximum benefit of Mastery. Oh... So you're going to do damage no matter what. That's a good finisher. And then they're buffing your hybrid healing. But they also removed Risen Fury. For preservation, the goal of this... I feel like this makes your cooldown stronger and your sustained damage not relevant, though. Although, I mean, Dev Evoker right now, at least in PvP, it has no burst damage, so maybe that's fine. Preservation, the goal of this change is to make Dream Breath a flexible heal that can once again serve as a powerful heal over time effect or a burst heal when charged. This also further differentiates it from a spell like Verdant Embrace and Mirthra's Blessing, which have similar role as an on-demand burst heal. Mirthra's Blessing has been updated. It now increases all healing of Dream Breath by 60%, down from 250, and previously applied only to its instant healing. Font of Magic is now updated. It now also reduces the empower time of Dream Breath and Fire Breath by 20%. Isn't that the mana bag talent? So you can empower faster. Dream Breath instant healing reduced by 50, but its periodic healing is increased by 118%. Temporal barrier absorption increased by 30. Again, trying to lower the burst healing, and I think that falls in line with what they're trying to do. For Hunter, they're buffing your auto attacks by 600%. Hunters needed more brain dead damage, I guess. What? Hunter's Mark can now be applied up to 5 targets. This change should allow hunters to more reliably apply the Hunter's Mark debuff in raid or dungeon boss encounters when there are multiple bosses without the need to bring out multiple hunters. What the hell? I didn't even think of that as a problem. I mean, that's obviously for PvE, but like, what does this mean for PvP? It's like Dispel Protection now almost. For hero talents, Dark Ranger, Bleak Arrow damage. Oh, are we buffing Dark Ranger damage? And Withering Fire's Black Arrow damage reduced by 40% though. I think it's just some random proc extra damage. I don't think it's a huge deal. BM Hunter felt a bit weak outside of Bistro Wrath damage windows, but it's up the entire time, so it doesn't matter. What do you... We're increasing their steady state damage by boosting Kill Command, Cobra Shot, and Barb Shot. We're increasing the duration of Beast Cleave to 10 seconds to be able to maintain 100% uptime. They are making BM Hunter more brain dead. You can't lose your cleave, your auto attacks do more. Heart of the Pack renamed to Razor Sharp and has been redesigned. Increases the damage of your pet's Bite, Claw, and Smack by 100%. Oh my god. Piercing Fang's been redesigned. Kill Command. Are we nerfing Bistro Wrath though in exchange for this? Or are we just buffing them? It looks like it's just buffing you. Kill Command critical strike damage by 15%. Blood Frenzy's been updated. Now reduces Barb Shot periodic rate increased by 30% down from 50. So a little bit less dot ticks. Kill Cleave's updated. Kill Command now cleaves 20% of its damage during Beast Cleave down from 40. A little less cleave damage, but more uptime, I guess, too. Barb Shot got buffed by 25%. Kill Command by 20. Cobra Shot by 20. Bro, if you don't do PvP modifier, how the hell is BM going to run people over? Beast Cleave got buffed to 10 from 8. Dire Beast summons can now be tracked on the cooldown manager. Can we also make Dire Beast invisible to other players, like with the ghouls? Because like I don't need to see that. Wild Instincts has been removed. I feel like BM Hunter's going to be crazy OP. Dark Ranger hero talent. Dark Hound now summons can now be tracked. Do you really need to know that? I don't PvE on this class. I don't know how important that is, but do you really need to track that? Marksmanship Hunter. Last round of changes reintroduced Explosive Shot as a button players opt into, but it didn't flow well with the spec. In Midnight Season 2, we're making changes to Explosive Shot's design and some of its supporting talents. The Headshot talent has also been a source of frustration, so we're removing it and adjusting how Death Blow works to make it more predictable when you should follow up an aim shot cast with a kill shot or a black arrow. Finally, we're adjusting Marksmanship's Apex talent node to no longer make aim shot a guaranteed critical strike to reduce the emphasis of aim shot modifiers. New talent and stable trigger. Explosive Shot can be used a second time if used within 3 seconds. Explosive Shot incorporates any remaining damage from the previous one. That's going to give you more burst. Explosive Shot's being redesigned. It fires an explosive shot at your target every 1 second for 3 seconds. The target explodes, dealing fire damage to all. So it's like an AoE dot tick now. Damage reduced beyond 5 targets. Recasting Explosive Shot incorporates any remaining damage from your previous target. We're pivoting from the design of explosive shot quite a bit to attempt to find a stronger identity. The changes of the core explosive shot as well as explosive shot related talents should give it a distinct play feel. I kind of like that rather than just being one hit. It's going to be like a ongoing ticking thing. It's also getting a new visual. It's getting a new tooltip. Precision detonation has been redesigned. Explosive shot lasts for 1 second longer, so you're like almost like a dot class. Shrapnel shot renamed to incendiary ammunition has been redesigned. Explosive shot's cooldown is being reduced by 10 seconds. Incendiary ammunition and unstable trigger now have a choice node. Apex talent rank 2 is being redesigned. Your critical strike damage increased by 5 to 10%, up from 3 to 6. So you get more crit damage, but you're not getting 100% crit, I assume. Spotter's Narc now increases the damage to aim shot and rapid fire against the target. Previously it was only aim shot. The previous version of marksmanship, Apex talents, put too much emphasis on aim shot and the crit modifier, so the new version should be better. Hopefully this also makes you less bursty, not getting the instant guaranteed crit one-shots. Bullet storms have been redesigned. Rapid fire now increases the damage of your next aim shot by 20%. Oh, but you're just getting the damage there instead. Incendiary ammunition renamed to accuracy by volume and has been redesigned. Bullet storm now affects your next 2 aim shots. Death blow is being updated. Aim shot now has a chance to cause your next aim shot to grant death blow. Make it clear when you should follow up an aim shot with a kill shot or black arrow rather than having the uncertainty of which button to press. Rapid fire's 100% chance to grant a death blow effect is unchanged. You should always be able to follow up a rapid fire with a kill shot or black arrow. Good. Okay. Aspect of the hider is being updated. Arcane shot no longer cleaves. But aim shot's getting a 20% damage buff. What the 20% damage buff on rapid fire, 20% on arcane shot, 20% on multi shot and kill shot? Hunter was already insane, bro. What is good? I feel like Hunter's gonna be crazy in PvP. Eagle's accuracy is now a 1-point talent that increases the damage of aim shot by 5, down from 10. Oh, they're nerfing your talents though. They're buffing your baseline damage and then nerfing your talents impact. Focus aim now reduces the cooldown of aim shot by 1 second, down from 2. Fix an issue that caused death blow to not trigger at the expected rates when casting aim shot. Aim shot is a new icon. I hate this. I hate when they do that. Don't do that. It doesn't need a new icon. It's like people who learn the game and then you change the icon, they have to learn the game again. I swear it's the biggest waste of time to change like a tooltip icon. That is an iconic icon for aim shot. Everybody that's played WoW from the very beginning knows that it's aim shot. Changing it is just going to confuse people. Please don't change it. I hate when like the core abilities have existed with a tool with a tooltip like that, or not a tooltip but like the picture or whatever. I hate changing that. Some talents have changed location in the second gate of the talent tree to make explosive shot more obtainable. The tenacious cunning talent node has been moved and is no longer required. I feel like this is going to require so much testing, and it's not going to get like the amount of public testing that it needs. This patch is massive, bro. This patch is insane. This is going to require wait, what the heck? They removed double tap again, and headshot. Double tap's gone again. Okay, maybe you're not going to get cheesy one shot people, I guess. Dark Ranger. Through the Eyes is being redesigned. Increase the damage of kill shot and black arrow by 10%. Black arrow no longer highlights itself whenever it's able to be used against the target. Why not? Black arrow direct damage reduced by 40% though. What is going on? Ebon Bowstring now causes black arrow to have a chance to cause an aim shot to grant death blow effect. I thought we already did that up top. Dark Minion summons now can be tracked on the cooldown manager. Sentinel Moon Blessing now causes 1 second of cooldown reduction to aim shot, down from 2. For survival, a new talent, Razor's Edge. Raptor Strike, Raptor Swipe, and Kill Command gain 10% increased critical strike chance and 10% increased critical strike damage. Primal Surge has been moved up to an easier access location. And then Shower of Blood's been removed. I just played Survival this morning, but I don't know what that is. Survival is not getting nearly the attention that BM or Marksman is getting. I feel like they removed and stripped the most out of Survival. For hero talents on Sentinel, Lethal Barbs is being updated. Auto attacks now have a very high chance to generate 3 focus rather than granting 1 focus per auto attack. The previous version of Lethal Barbs favored dual wielding the fastest attack speed of weapons. It's changing this to a very high chance to generate 3 focus, which should normalize the focus gains and allow you to wield what you want. Isn't one of them just going to be better? I feel like we learn this with Fury Warriors and just let people transmog what they want, because one of them is better than the other. I don't know what you have to do to achieve two-hander being exactly equal to dual wield. It's just let people transmog what they want. They don't care if it's functionally better, I don't think. They just want to look like they're dual wielding. Scout's Vigil no longer increases stealth detection radius while using camouflage. What? Rogues are getting stronger. Why can you not see? What? That's the whole thing with the hunters. They're supposed to be anti-stealth. Why take that out? Is it a delve thing? For mages. Oh! We're making some adjustments to Mage Defensive to improve survivability. Oh, God. As a whole, and slightly reduce the power of Glacial Bulwark. They do need to be tankier in Mythic Plus. They don't in PvP. New talent, improved warding. Damage taken from area of effect attacks reduced by 4%. Improved Prismatic Barrier updated. Now grants additional charge of Prismatic Barrier. In addition... No, my God, bro. We're giving double barrier to Arcane now. Temporal Realignment has been updated. Now immediately heals you for 20% of your health and heals an additional 30%. I don't know what that is. That sounds like an Arcane thing. Why is it listed under Mage as a whole? Wait, this is listed under Mage as a whole too. Why? Prismatic Barrier is Arcane only. I don't know why it's listed. Does that mean they're getting 2 Blazing Barriers too? Oh, God. Oh, God. This is the patch that BlizzCon's going to be played on. This is high risk. This is some high risk stuff. Spellslinger Spellfrost's Teachings Tooltip has been adjusted for clarity, functionality unchanged. Sun Fury, we're redesigning Rondormancy. I don't even know what the heck that is. To lean into making your 3 orbs better rather than giving you 5 orbs to align more closely with the inspirations of Sun Fury. That's probably good. And reduce visual clutter. We're also uncapping Mana Cascade to match other applications may overlap effects. Rondormancy has been redesigned. Your chance to generate Spellfire Spheres 6 to 12. And will grant 1% more spell damage. Ashes of Inspiration redesigned. Each time your Phoenix casts a spell, gain 1 stack of Mana Cascade. Exceptional spells will grant 1 additional stack. Memory of Alar has been updated. Combustion, Arcane Surge no longer cause the mage to gain twice as many Mana Cascades. Spellfire Spheres, Orb Generation chance reduced to 6 for Arcane and 12 for Fire. It was 12 and 25. Mana Cascade no longer has a stack cap. Mana Cascade is now also gained when the mage casts Arcane Pulse Chromatic. So it's just 3 orbs, probably less time, less annoying to juggle it around. Arcane. So nothing for Frost so far. I guess it'll be at the end of this. Arcane's Apex talent is to provide more exciting and visual moment. Interesting. Prismatic Bolt. Arcane Barrage has a 1% chance per stack to trigger Prismatic Bolt. The bolt devastates the target with overwhelming energy, dealing arcane damage to your target and reduced arcane damage to nearby enemies. Damage reduced beyond 5 targets. We're just adding more damage to Arcane Barrage with an extra little arcane diddly-doo that's going to go in. It generates 4 arcane charges. Oh, God. And not affected by Arcane Blast talents or effects. It does not scale its damage or mana cost with arcane charges. So it's just a free reset for another barrage. With a little diddly-doo animation, I assume. Prismatic Bullet has a 50 to 100% chance to grant clear casting. Arcane Missiles damage increased by 50 to 15 to 30. That's nice. The 15 to 30, that's nice. I don't know if that was like that already. Arcane Salvo grants an additional 1% chance to trigger Prismatic Bolt. Arcane Barrage damage increased by 15%, so just flat out more damage on your spells. Arcane Pulse is being redesigned. It's a faster cast, 2 seconds now. Radius increased to 8 yards from 2. It has a 15-second cooldown and generates 1 arcane charge for each enemy struck and costs 10% base mana. It no longer has a cast time, radius, mana cost, or cast speed affected by arcane charges. Isn't that just Arcane Flux? Isn't this... It's very similar. Wait, why does it say the cast time is reduced, but then it no longer has its cast time? Oh, never mind. It's not instant. I just misread this. There's a lot of notes. It's not instant, but a 15-second cooldown? Oh wait, it's Arcane Pulse. What am I even reading? I thought I was reading Arcane Surge. I'm freaking out about Arcane Pulse because I thought it was Arcane Surge. I was like, Arcane Surge is a 15-second. That sounds insane. Okay, so Arcane Pulse is just a more distinct kind of casted AoE. I'm freaking out for no reason. Expanded Mind has been updated. Casting Prismatic Bolt now grants 4 stacks of Salvo. Impetus no longer affects Arcane Pulse, so none of the talents affect it. Touch of the Archmage is being removed. That's not Touch of the Magi, is it? I don't think that is, but maybe it is. Fire Mage. Our goals with these changes is to shift the relative value of fire steady state damage versus combustion windows. It's important that the time spent outside of combustion remains meaningful and impactful. So buffing Pyroblast and Flame Strike by 15%, but your Apex talents are going to grant you less. So to 2% increase fire damage down from 4, now increases fire damage from 5 to 10. Your chance to occur during combustion is slightly reduced. Okay, it's decent, but I don't know if it's enough. For Frost, Glacial Bulwark's being updated. It no longer grants an additional charge of Ice Barrier. Okay, so Arcane is getting double barrier. You're not as Frost. Okay, so Frost Mage might not ruin BlizzCon if it doesn't have double barrier. But how are you making them more passively tanky? Because I feel like they do need to be more passively tanky for new players in PvE. Because Frost is just squishier now. Am I dumb? Or is it just every mage gets 2 barriers and that's what this thing is at the top? The Prismatic Barrier thing is just all mage specs get it, and then they removed this because you'd have 3. I don't really know. I have to make one on the PTR and see. You're also getting a 4% damage buff. Apex talent rank 2 now grants 0.5 to 1% increased spell damage So a little bit less damage overall from the talent from the Apex, but then counteracted here. It's very confusing. You're either losing a barrier or nothing is changing and all mages get 2 barriers. I'm not sure which. Chi transfer from Monk causes Touch of Death to heal you for 60%. That doesn't really matter. Vigorous Expulsion increases expels harm healing by 6 from 5. Doesn't really matter. Brewmaster, just making you tankier. It's just in line with all the other tanks. Just making you tankier with the other changes that they're doing. For Mistweaver, we're making a few adjustments to Mistweaver Monk with the intent of incentivizing mastery as more viable secondary stat. Good, I like this. I really like when they try to even the secondary stats out, because someone who plays multiple specs and it's like, I'm geared for this and it's full haste, but I want to switch to that. It's full mastery to play that and I'm useless, and I hate that when that happens. New talent, Vital Expenditure, Soothing Mist Healing increased by 300%, but its mana cost is increased by 200%. Choice Note with Dancing Mist. What the frick is that, man? What? Soothing Mist is just going to be lay on hands, except it just ooms you instantly? I don't really know. I don't know how big this is. The numbers sound big, but maybe they don't. Maybe they're not actually that big. They nerfed your healing by 3%. Your Mastery, Gust of Mist Healing increased by 50. What about the Spinning Crane Kick crap? Spinning Crane Kick's getting nerfed by 15%. Weight of the Crane now only transfers 280% down from 340. Is that enough to make you not just derpy spin the whole time? Jade Fire Teaching now increases Ancient Teaching's transfer amount by 320 down to 270. I'm down with making them not do the derpy spinning healing all the time. Windwalker Monk. This was an egregious one-shot spec. We're making a few adjustments to the damage profile to reduce the gap. Good. They're buffing your auto attacks by 30. Zenith Stomp is doing 30% less damage. Was it really the damage on Zenith Stomp? I feel like it's just because it gives you extra, whatever it's called for Monk. It's not combo points, but chi or whatever. Blackout Kick is getting buffed by 50%. Tiger Palm got a 200% buff. Dual Threat got a 30% buff. Where the frick is the nerf? Weapon of the Wind now increases damage during Zenith by 5 down from 10. I mean, bro, these baseline numbers are, I don't know if that's going to do enough. Tiger Eye Brew now increases critical strike damage by 5 to 10, down from 10 to 20. That should reduce spikiness. Vivify also got buffed by 25%. More off healing. Conduit of the Celestials. Conduit of the Celestial damage reduced by 25%. Why, though? Temple Training increases the damage of Fist Fury Spinning Crane Kick by 30% from 10. I feel like you're stronger. I feel like Windwalker's going to be nuts after that. Paladin, Golden Path healing increased by 25%. Lightforged Blessing as well, brought of the light healing. I don't know what any of those are, bro. And I've been playing Holy Paladin a lot. I don't know what any of those names mean. I assume that's going to affect tanks more than anything. Lightsmith, Rite of Adjuration and healing increased by 25%. For Prot, with these changes, we're intending to reduce the opportunity cost associated with taking Sentinel and broadening the suite of defensive talent options. We're also transferring some power out of strong cooldown windows and into baseline throughput. Was it good? Okay. Blessed Word of Glory can no longer critically strike, but its healing is increased by a critical strike chance, and 80% of its overhealing done to you instead shrouds you, so you get a shield from your Word of Glory. Improved Ardent Defender has been redesigned. It now increases maximum HP by 20%, while active and no longer cancels the remaining duration if fatal damage is sustained. Well, why would you care if fatal damage? Oh, I guess if you survived, it just doesn't cancel. Seal of Reprisal has been redesigned. Blessed Hammer reduces enemy damage dealt to you by 10%. Oh, that's a lot of durability right there. Master Work has been updated after casting Holy Armament. Your next 3 casts of Hammer of Righteous and Blessed Hammer Crusader Strike bestow a lesser armament of the same kind to a nearby ally. What is this damage buff on Prot? 100% on Judgment, 100% on Consecrate, 150% on Shield of Righteous, 50% on Hammer of the Righteous primary damage. Avenging Wrath increases damage and healing by 10% and critical strike by 10%, and 30% on Avenger's Shield. 50% on your lesser weapon damage, 33% on Hammer of Light. Empyrean damage reduced though by 33%. Divine Exaction. So the cooldowns are nerfed right here in the baseline. But I guess this is fine. If they nerf the cooldowns, this is fine. I'm responding to this as if their burst is still like the crazy habit. The burst is coming down. Sentinel duration increased by 20 seconds. Undying Embers heals you for 125% of the damage dealt by Refining Fire, up from 100. Bulwark of Order Absorb increased to 75% of Avenger's Shield damage from 60. Solace causes Consecration to heal you for 375%. That's a lot. I feel like Prot's... In PvE, Prot might be... Sanctified Wrath is gone. It's a lot of cooldown power loss. That seems to be more specific, like, tailoring that is necessary for, like, damage threshold, but no, not many people play it in PvP. For Ret, we're adjusting throughput spikes with cooldowns. We're also removing interactions with the Sky Fury buff that deeply impacts the rotation of Holy Power economy. We believe this is a healthier direction for Retribution Paladin. Light Within rank 1 for your Apex now has an additional effect. Art of War and Righteous Cause can now accumulate an additional time. Art of War is being updated. It now increases Blade of Justice damage only by 80%, down from 150. But Blade of Justice baseline is buffed by 40, so it's Final Verdict, damage increased by 15. Divine Storm by 15. Avenging Wrath now increases damage and critical strike chance by 15 down from 20. This seems a little bit more of a slow burn on this. Again, this is like, you got to tune this week by week. Like, is there enough time to even do this? This is huge. Templar Strike 50% buff. Templar Slash 50% buff. Judgment 50% buff. Hammer of Wrath 50% buff. Judgment now deals 50% increased damage down from 100 on Divine Toll. Apex Talent damage reduced by 25%. Flash Heal, off healing all got buffed. Oh my god, they're already off healed for so much. And Art of War no longer activates from additional Sky Fury attacks. Additional Sky Fury attacks no longer generate Holy Power when talented into Crusading Strikes. Crusading Strikes now increases auto attack speed by 15%, decreasing by 20. And Execution Sentence area of effect radius increased to 10 yards. This is this seems so crazy. And now includes the bounding radius of target with it was 8. Bro, this is these talent. This is so crazy. Templar Hammer of Light damage reduced by 30%. Does not affect PvP combat though. And Hammer of Light now costs. This is the first thing we've seen that doesn't affect PvP. So Hammer of Light's not going to do even less. For Discipline Priest, bro, we're not even like. I swear we're not even halfway through all of the specs. Like, what? Discipline Priest? Our changes are aimed at reducing the spec's reliance on procs for effective healing, improved sources of consistent damage, and improving hero talent balance. It was too reliant on Shadow Men and Void Shield. We're updating Shadow Men to be passive upgrade to Flash Heal and adding a deterministic way to gain access to Void Shield. Additionally, Smite contributes to a low amount of damage despite being frequently cast, so we're increasing its damage and updating the talent tree. That sounds nice. Grim Deliverance Shadow Men will heal for 30% more. Shadow Men's chance to trigger is no longer based on Shadow of Pain. It's been redesigned. Flash Heal just is Shadow Men now, which is a stronger heal with a higher mana cost. That's going to be interesting for like spell school dodging in PvP. Master Rank 3 is updated. Mind Blast now upgrades your next power with Shield to Void Shield, so you have to. Mind Blast is even more important. Master of Darkness has been updated. Void Shield now reflects 15%, down from 25. Flash Healing increased by 25. I assume that would apply to Shadow Men too, but maybe not. Master of Darkness can now accumulate 2 charges. Smite got 40%. I feel like that's not enough for how pathetic Smite is. Inescapable Torment damage reduced by 30%. Is that the Shadow of Death damage? I don't think so. I think that's like Deviation or something. Penance no longer applies Atonement when cast on an ally. Why? It's not playing well because it causes too much friction between casting Penance on allies that need healing. Oh, so you don't have to use it to heal. And then Greater Smite is a 1-point talent. For Oracle, Unfolding Vision has been redesigned. When Powered Shield or Void Shield expires, absorption remaining, it jumps to a nearby injured ally instead. It can happen once per shield. Okay, very small. Void Blast damage got buffed. Void Wraith damage got buffed. And Void Infusion now increases Atonement healing from Void Blast and Penance by 75% while Rift. Void Weaver's getting stronger, bro? I don't know if they do it. Okay. For Holy, for Archon, Resonant Energy has been slightly redesigned, creating a halo, increasing healing done by 2%, stacking up to 4 times. Divine Hymn is changing. It will grant Guardian Spirit while channeled. What? We're adding a benefit to channeling Divine Hymn to make it easier to use. If you already have Guardian Spirit active on yourself, Divine Hymn will add 5 seconds of duration. If Divine Hymn's channeling is ended early, it will remove whatever time. So they're making the AoE channel cooldowns, add a cooldown into them for Mythic Plus, I guess, because channeling and standing still is like a high risk choice. Makes the cooldown really strong in PvP though. For Shadow, we are intending to improve Void Form gameplay and are adding an additional source of multi-target damage to reduce the spec's reliance on Psychic Link in AoE situations. For Void Form, we're updating Void Volley to be a limited use ability that can be used a set number of times during Void Form, which leaves more room in the rotation while giving you a chance to use it as most opportunistic. Good, because it was just a random extra damage button. Shade Burst. Shadowy apparitions that float towards your primary target explode. Are they going to be targetable? Please don't. Damage reduced. It's just extra shadowy apparitions. Improved Void Form has been redesigned. Void Form increases spell damage by an additional 5% and grants 2 uses of Void Volley. So you're only going to get 2. Ancient of Madness has been redesigned. Shadow Word Madness increases haste during Void Form by 2% and its duration by 1.5 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. When Void Form ends, the haste lingers and decays over 10 seconds. Void Form now grants 3 uses of Void Volley instead of Void Volley having a cooldown. Empowered Shield absorbed by 25%. Phantom Menace got removed. For Archon, Focused Outburst has been redesigned. Void Volley deals 15% increased damage, and Shadow Word Madness casts Void Form, unleash a Void Volley at your target. What? So you're going to get more Void Volleys that just come from your madness rather than you manually using them. Resonant Energy has been slightly redesigned, creating a halo, increasing your spell damage by 2%. That makes Archon cooler, I'll be honest. That makes me think Archon, that's a cooler way of making Archon more viable. I like that. Okay, Rogue. What are we doing, man, with Rogue? Dissolty is now a choice talent. Players may now choose between the existing version, which casts automatically at low energy, in addition to using it active, and a new version that must be cast actively. I don't want to cast it actively. Atrophic Poison now reduces the damage dealt by 4% from 3. Atrophic Poison duration increased to 60 up from 10, and durations remain unchanged in PvP. For Fatebound, Deal Fate now has a 60% chance to grant an additional combo point when your Seal of Fate was 100%. I really hope for Outlaw they added a lot of like better animations for some of their procs to make it easier to know when you got them. Assassination, we're updating the Assassination energy economy. We aren't happy with how the rank 1 implacable Apex talent is playing. It's unintuitive for optimal play to intentionally let Envenom drop. We're updating its design so refreshing Envenom late is consistently the best way to play and giving it consistent energy recovery value. See, this is what I don't understand. They realized the pooling energy thing was bad. They're backing out on it, but then they're going to do it to Boomkin? Don't do it to me, man. Unstable Toxin and Venom damage increased by 18%, but its duration is reduced by 2. Implacable rank 1 has been updated. Venom damage increased by 10%. And Venom restores 2 energy per combo point. Internal Bleeding is being updated. Now triggers from casting Kidney Shot and Rupture, rather than also being applied when copying Rupture's Crimson Tempest. And its damage got a 10% increase. Iron Wire is updated. Garrote's applied from stealth or during the improved Garrote window. Now silence the target for 5 seconds. I assume that not in PvP, even though it doesn't say that. I would assume. Dashing Scoundrel has been updated. And Venom's effect now increases the critical strike chance of your weapon's poisons by 10% from 5. Your energy regeneration is increased by 4%. Oh my god, bro. Assassination is going to be fire, man. All damage increased by 3%. Deathmark increases the damage. Okay, they're nerfing your cooldowns, though, which is what they've said they're going to do. So Deathmark's weaker. Kingsbane is weaker. Shrouded Suffocation increases the Garrote damage by 30%, though. Baseline abilities are going up on Rupture. Motivated energy increased. Rapid injection damage bonus increased. Venomous wounds generate more energy when multiple targets affected by your bleeds. That's cool. I like that. Blindside's chance to trigger reduced to 10% after 15 and 20% when the target is at low health. Poison Bomb's visual is adjusted to make it other more important visuals on top of it easier to see. What are the other important visuals? Several talents have changed position of the talent tree, and deadly momentum has been removed. I think that's much better for assassination. Outlaw. We're improving talent build diversity and flexibility. We've increased the power of some underperforming talents and pulled back on some that could feel locked in. Killing spree damage has been increased significantly because the damage it did wasn't sufficiently stronger than using other abilities during its channel would have been. Okay, good. Talent should now increase your overall damage about as much as other comparable abilities. Between the Eyes is updated, causes Between the Eyes critical strikes to deal 2.5 damage down from 3, so nerfing some of your burst. Fax action updated. Now reduces the cooldown Between the Eyes by 8 seconds up from 5, but you can use it more. And increases the damage bonus between the Eyes attacks by 1%. Killing Spree got a 60% buff. Heavy Hitter increases the damage of attacks that combo points generate by 15 to 30, up from 10 to 20. 0 in value per stack reduced to 2 from 3. We don't want players to feel obligated to use offhand daggers to maximize the value of this talent. 0 in now has a 30% chance to not proc if triggered by a weapon with 1.8 speed, giving it the same proc rate when attacked with daggers versus other one-handed weapons. People just want to mog their weapons or whatever it is. I really don't think people care if they're actually wearing a sword or not. They just want it to look like a sword. Hidden opportunity chance for ambush to grant opportunity increased to 100% from 80 of the chance for sinister strike to grant opportunity. New connectors have been added. So they didn't add any visuals towards like seeing like if you rolled a 3 buff or whatever, or jackpot, whatever it's called now. For subtlety, Relentless Strikes now generates 4 energy per combo point spent, down from 5. Shadowcraft no longer stores 1 additional combo point. Frequency from auto attacks increased to 75% from 40. Energy and combo point generation during cooldown windows has been overflowing. These reductions aim to reduce circumstances of overcapping resources while maintaining potent relative generation in those windows. Lingering Shadow now applies to Shuriken Storm. Shadow Dance's tooltip has been updated to include its threat reduction effect. Apex talent Ancient Arts now considers the total damage of Secret Technique when creating a Shadow Clone. Fixing an issue that caused Secret Technique damage for secondary hit to be attributed to summoning pets. So I don't really understand the math here, because they say a lot here, but a lot of this doesn't mean much to me. Ascendance has a new icon. Why? I hate this. Everybody who learned the game knows what it looks like, and now it's just everybody has to relearn it? Why? Farseer, developer's notes. In previous tuning hotfix for Elemental Shaman, Farseer's spirits received a small change, so they scale with Elemental Fury talent. We are changing several other places where they weren't scaling, which with the same as the others, so Farseer's is better. Chain Lightning now hits 5 targets. Lava Burst now increases damage by 1% equal to your critical strike chance. So crit as a stat got better. Elemental shamans have higher burst during their ascendance window with the changes at midnight than we would like. We don't want ascendance to stop being a noticeable damage amplifier, but the combination of effect that boosted your elemental overload damage from ascendance and apex talents all compounded with each other. We're spreading a lot more damage on your spells to deal consistently higher damage while getting a nice specter and ascendance. So Power of the Maelstrom redesign. Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning have a 15% chance to cause your next lava burst to deal 20% more damage. Stack it up to 2 times. Lava burst consumes 1 stack at a time. Supercharge and Power of the Maelstrom both were extra random elemental overloads. We feel that other changes will make your damage more consistent while still allowing other parts of the talent tree to still increase the quantity of power from your elemental overloads. Stormkeeper redesigned. Next 2 lightning bolts, instant cast, do 150% more damage, or next 2 chain lightnings are instant cast to cause elemental overload. Lava burst was increased by 30%, but not in PvP. Oh my god, this is the first thing that's not going in PvP, but those BM Hunter ones are going in PvP. Lightning bolt got a 13%, but not in PvP, but chain lightning got a 60%. Maybe I'll actually press it. I don't know. Flame Shock got a 60%. Tempest was reduced by 20%. Healing Surge got buffed by 25%. All your off healing got buffed. Ascendance now increases elemental overload only by 30% down from 75. Bonus lava bursts when activating Ascendance are now 50% of their value. God damn, bro. Wait, maybe popping Ascendance is a damage loss. Molten Wrath now increases the damage of lava burst by 10 down from 15. Feedback Loop rank 1 now increases elemental overload damage by 10 down from 35. Apex talent Feedback Loop rank 2 now grants 15 to 30% critical strike damage, goes down from 25 to 50. Elemental Blast cast from Fusion Elements now grant only 40% of the normal duration of the Elemental Blast stat buffs, was 100%. I mean, I feel like Ellie's weaker after this. Fix an issue that caused Voltaic Blades to not properly affected by Elemental Fury's crit damage bonus. Fix an issue causing Elemental Resonance to not affect periodic elemental damage. So the dot damage is getting a lot better. Fix an issue with Apex Talent Feedback Loop rank 2 did not properly increase the critical strike damage of several Elemental Shaman talents. That seems... Supercharge for Stormbringer. Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Tempest Overloads deal 10% more damage. Okay, so they nerfed Tempest but then buffed it here. Enhancement Shaman, all your off healing is getting buffed and that's it. Oh my god, bro. You guys keep getting healing buffs. Healing Rain for Restoration Shaman has a 12-second cooldown, 18-second duration. Recasting Healing Rain while one is already active will despawn the previous one. This cooldown change does not affect the Surging Totem's Healing Rain from Totemic. This change should allow more flexibility for the player to move Healing Rain around when it's desirable. But how... I don't know how Healing Rain works without it being on Totemic, so putting a cooldown on it makes me think you can't move it around. Summon Demonic Gateway is now a utility spell on the cooldown manager. Okay. Hellcaller. We're updating Blackened Soul to give Hellcaller a better tool for focusing damage into priority target, increasing the overall flexibility of the hero talent tree rather than having it only excel in situations where multiple targets are present. However, we are keeping the functionality of Malevolence the same, so it remains a cool and impactful tool in Hellcaller's kit. It's being redesigned. If the target is affected by your Wither, your Chaos Bolt and Shadow Burn increase its stack count by 1. Each time Wither gains a stack, it has a chance to collapse, consuming a stack to deal Shadow Flame damage to its host until only 1 stack remains. Mark of Puritharn has been redesigned. Damaging critical strikes dealt by Wither deal 215% increased damage to up from 200%. Damaging critical strikes dealt by Blackened Soul deal 225% damage from the usual 200. That just sounds like Wither is getting more interactivity here. And they mention Malevolence, but then I don't see it at all listed here. Destruction, Conflagration of Chaos has been redesigned. Conflagrate, Shadowburn have a 100% chance to critically strike, and their damage is increased by your crit strike chance. Are we going to see crit locks? Because I think Chaos Bolt scales off crit too. Conflagration of Chaos has been removed from the cooldown manager. Apex Talent, Embers of Neolim tooltip has been updated to show players a % chance of Incinerate from evoking an Echo of Sargeras. For Warrior, Rend is iconic and a core warrior ability with a different relationship to each spec. Our approach to Rend and Midnight hasn't worked out as we hoped, so we're making changes to how each spec applies and interacts with Rend. Since when is Rend core to Fury Warrior? I don't feel like it's been core to Fury Warrior for most of WoW's. Rend ability is now exclusive to arms. Okay, good. It's exclusive to arms. Has returned to being a single target ability, and its rage cost is reduced to 10. Cleave will apply Rend to all targets the warrior knows Rend. Oh my god, this is a way more awkward way of spreading bleeds. New talent, Fury, Storm of Blood. Whirlwind applies Rend to all targets. What about Thunderclap still? Crashing Thunder causes Storm of Blood to also apply Thunderclap for Mountain Thane. So you have to be a Mountain Thane warrior. But you can't... Wait a minute. What the heck? Rend is Fury only, but then, or Rend is arms only, but then there's a Fury talent that gives you Rend? It's just passive, I guess, and not an ability or whatever. New talent, Protection, Blood and Thunder. Thunderclap applies Rend. Oh my god, it makes Rend so much more awkward for... Oh my god, Thunderclap no longer innately spawns red. Oh, that's going to feel awful for arms. Javelineer has a new icon. Why? Ravager has been updated. Ravager is a unique ability, and we want Ravager itself and its positioning to be important, but with its current design puts more emphasis on its value as an AoE damage amp rather than Ravager itself. We're redesigning Ravager slightly to address this. You're gonna make it single target. You're buffing it by 50%. No longer increases cleave or whirlwind damage while it's active. Ravager now causes all enemies in the area to take 25% increased damage from your bleeds. Oh, you're a bleed blender. Ravager's duration is no longer reduced by haste. Bloodletting has been updated. Your abilities have a 5% increased chance to critically strike targets affected by Rend. If you know Rend, Mortal Strike inflicts Rend to the target below 35%. That's just... Deep Wounds last 33% longer. This will just never happen in PvP. Broad Strokes has been updated. Colossal Smash now grants 6 stacks of Sweeping Strikes on use. Stacks of Sweeping Strikes from Sweeping Strike's ability and Broad Strokes will stack normally regardless of the order in which they were used. So you get passive Sweeping Strikes when you Colossus Smash, but it's a talent, or is that just a baseline thing? I'm not sure. Sweeping Strikes now displays the number of active Sweeping Strikes charges. Improved Sweeping Strike has been removed. Isn't that the one where... So it's going to have a limited amount of charges. Mass Execution, Overpowering Finish now are on a choice note with each other. Battle Lord and Master Tactician have swapped positions in the tree. I don't know how big that is. That sounds big, but I'm not sure how big. Hero Talents for Colossus. Developers Notes demolishes variable cooldown has proven to be more frustrating than interesting. So we're changing it to align closely with Colossus Smash, enabling Arms Warrior, Colossus Warriors to coordinate their use for maximum. I thought we were trying to not cooldown stack. This is cooldown stacking. Tide of Battle increases the damage of Overpower and Execute. Was Overpower only. Demolish cooldown reduced to 30 from 45. And Dominance of Colossus no longer reduces the cooldown of Demolish. So you're just passively getting always 30. Whirlwind is updated for Fury. Whirlwind has historically been a core part. I agree with that. Even in single target situations, we'd like to open the door for Whirlwind to be a useful ability in single target again. Well then what about the fucking 3 other abilities that are already there? Whirlwind now generates 3 rage innately. Improved Whirlwind has been updated. No longer causes Whirlwind to generate 3 rage innately, but still increases rage generation by Whirlwind by 1 per target hit, up to 8 total rage. Carving Blades Whirlwind deals 50% additional damage when strikes only a single target. Yeah, but what about Raging Blow, Bloodthirst, Execute? You just have like 5 abilities or single target ability. Like, what? Why do you want to take an AoE ability and make it a single target ability on a spec that already has like 4 single target abilities? I get the fantasy of Whirlwind, but I feel like it's going to have to replace one of those abilities. Rampaging Ruin has been redesigned. While Improved Whirlwind is active, Rampage's final strike slams the target to the ground, dealing physical damage to all enemies. Damage reduced beyond 5. Does it mean you get a stun? Or what? What does slam to the ground mean? Rampaging Ruin is intended to help alleviate the AoE cap, a target cap on Fury's rotational abilities. Current design ended up being very difficult to figure out when it was best to use. Rampaging Ruin, the new design should make the choice more intuitive. Hack and Slash have been updated. Rampage now has a 75% chance to refund a charge of Raging Blow, increase the damage of the next Raging Blow. Yeah, but we already just said Whirlwind's our single target button. We feel that Fury plays best when there is a degree of uncertainty about which ability you'll use after the one you're currently pressing. Previous iterations of Hack and Slash provided extremely regular and consistent Raging Blow resets, causing Raging Blow to almost always be available. We believe this change will keep Fury rotations variable and allow for more difference in rotational field between builds that emphasize Raging Blow and those that do not. I mean, if the Raging Blow is better, then you're going to use the Raging Blow. If it's not, then you won't. I mean, I understand the intent here is nice, but the math is going to math. And I don't know where the math will math because I'm not good at math and we haven't seen what this looks like. Hero talent for Mountain Thing. Thunderclap's base damage increased significantly in Midnight, causing overall Thunderclap damage to rise significantly, which turned into devaluing Thunderblast, removing the Crash Thunder damage bonus into Thunderblast to keep Thunderblast feeling special and important. So Thunderblast does 40% more damage, but Thunderclap's going to do less. Okay. So the proc Thunderclaps will hit harder, but the non... again, this is like... It seems counterintuitive. I thought we were trying to make baseline abilities hit better, more overall. This is going to make the cooldown version of it hit harder. For protection, Devastating Focus has been updated. Now increases Revenge, Execute. Damage dealt to the target was Revenge only. Oh, God. Okay, you're going to get a lot of single target damage with that. Bloodborne has been updated. Now increases all bleed damage, was only Rend and Deep Wounds. Fueled by Violence will now heal you for 125%, so they're getting the same damage mitigation increases as all the other tanks. Ravager's getting the same thing where it's going to do more damage and last longer, but probably not scale off of things. And it causes them to do, it's just bleed damage. So Ravager's just a bleed blender and will no longer be reduced to haste. Hero talents for Colossus. Demolishes variability, so they're changing Demolish as well. It's 30-second cooldown, and there's no cooldown reduction for it anymore. And then you'll be getting revenge and execute damage. So this is, I mean, for PvP, execute's gonna hit really hard. And then for Mountain Thane, same deal for Prot, where Thunder Blast does more, but Thunderclap does less. We also have set bonuses, bro. This is the most, like, I don't know if this can be done because this is so much to do in a patch that's like what, like a few months away. For Blood DK 2-set bonus, your attack speed's increased by 15%. Crimson Scourge chance to occur is increased by 5%. Crimson Scourge increases the damage to next death and decay by 100% and grants 5% critical strike chance for 8 seconds when consumed. I mean, this sounds fun in PvE. I don't think you'll probably take that in PvP. Maybe it depends on how hard it hits. There are talents that scale your death and decay. Maybe it could be crazy, the PP talents. For Frost, each time Remorseless Winter damages at least one enemy, gaining Freezing Tempest, which grants 2% attack speed and 4% increased Icy Death Torrent damage for 5 seconds, stacking. So they're focusing on attack speed for these set bonuses. Remorseless Winter damage deals damage 25% more frequently, and Freezing Tempest lasts 5 seconds longer. Maybe you take that as Frost in PvP. I don't know how important your auto attack is. Unholy DK, your Magus of the Dead and Lord of the Dead cast a more powerful Necrotic Bolt instead of Frost Bolt. That's cool. I mean, it's just passive damage on your extra pets, but whatever. Necrotic Bolt damage increased by 130%, and Withering Grass damage is increased by 130% against enemies below 35. So you get a little bit of an execute power on your proc. I don't know how often you'd get this end in that range, so probably unlikely to take in PvP. Devourer 2-set bonus. Harvesting 4 or more soul fragments with Reap has a 20% chance to cause your next consume to be instant cast and explode in a soul burst, dealing cosmic damage. I think you already get. Maybe I'm mixing up Devourer. I haven't finished leveling mine, but I thought you already got instant things. Maybe it was Reap. 4-set bonus. Soul burst generates 8 soul fragments and grants Moment of Craving. Reap deals 20% increased damage. That might be worth getting, especially with what they've done for buffing the damage that it does. For Havoc, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, and Essence Break just deal 12% more damage. You're definitely going to take that. Essence Break now applies and benefits from the effects of Cycle of Hatred. It has a 25% increase initial strike damage and has a 2-second increase of duration. So Essence Break might be making a pretty big return here. For Vengeance, Sigil of Flame's damage over time is increased by 50%. Soul Cleave increases the duration of Sigil of Flame, the primary target, by 2 seconds as well. Immolation Aura and Sigil of Spite deal 100% increased damage against targets affected by your Sigil of Flame. So just throughput, nothing too risky here. Star Surge damage is increased by 20%. Starfall also deals astral damage instantly to all valid enemies in range when cast. Your damage is increased by 10% while in any eclipse. This bonus wanes to 2% at the midpoint of eclipse and waxes back to 10% at the end. My only concern is that this is just modifier stacking damage, right? Like if we're trying to lower like the one-shots, right? Like this type of stuff contributes to that. It's something you have to account for, and that's why this is I think so difficult to actually accomplish. 2-set for Feral. When Berserker Incarnation ends, you deal 10% increased damage for 1 second for each combo point you spent. That's cool to try and make your Incarn window benefit outside of your Incarn window. Berserk and Incarnation last 10 seconds longer. Okay, Feral gets the best set bonus so far. Guardian Druid Thrash has a 20% chance to make your next Mangle do a 100% increased damage. Thrash calls up 3 thorns, each impaling a target for nature damage and dealing nature damage up to 5 nearby enemies, and extends the duration of Berserk. What the? Guardian Druid is nuts. Resto Druid Rejuvenation has a 15% chance, and Nature Swiftness has a 100% chance to grant Genesis, which causes all your HOTS to heal for 25% more over time. Multiple applications may overlap. What the? That's really good. Genesis duration increased by 4 seconds, and gaining Genesis will also give you clear casting. Maybe not. I mean, I guess, yeah. Just faster hot ticks. Augmentation. This is just so much modifiers to take account for to accomplish the tuning goals that they have. Augmentation. Upheaval cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Upheaval magnifies your Fate Mirror image effect for 8 seconds, increasing the amount of damage echoed by 45%. This is cooldown stacking. Makes that cooldown window more important. Devastation 2-set. Shattering Star's damage is increased by 150%, and it always casts as if you had reached maximum in power level. Causality reduces the remaining cooldown of your Empower spells by an additional 0.1 seconds. Each time the effect occurs, Eternity Surge damage increased by 10%, so just some baseline throughput there. Preservation. Consuming Essence Burst now sends forth a living flame at your target at 150% effect. That's insane. I swear that's insane. What? Extra free living. Green spell restores 5% more healing. Verdant embrace has a 100% chance to create these. That's insane too. Preservation will a really good one. Beast mastery. Barb shot causes your pet to stomp 1 additional time at 50% effectiveness. Stomp causes your next Cobra shot to either benefit from Beast Cleave at 20% effectiveness or strike your primary target with 30% additional damage, taking it 4 times. See, that one's focusing on your filler spells a bit more rather than focusing on modifiers and stacking cooldown damage. But again, it depends on if they hit this right or not as to whether or not you'd use that. And depends on the stats on it for PvP. For marksmanship, explosive shot lasts 1 second longer and deals 20% more damage. And they reworked it into that fire ticking dot. Aim shot, rapid fire damage increased by 5%. Each time explosive shot causes a burst of damage, the cooldown of aim shot rapid fire will be reduced. Oh my god, you can cool that one seems good. That one seems fun. For survival, Raptor Strike just does 15% more damage, and Mongoose Fury increases the damage of Wildfire Bomb. Very boring, but like you probably want it, I think. For Arcane Missiles fires 1 additional missile and deals 20% more damage. That's really good. Each wave of Arcane Missiles increases the damage of your next Arcane Blast, Pulse, or Prismatic Bolt by 5% up to 40. Oh, so you could channel in for a big Arcane Blast. I think that's kind of cool. But again, it's like modifier stacking. What is it, one shot? I guess we have to wait and see. For fire, Pyroclasm causes Flame Strike and Pyroblast to always critically strike. That's the hard casted one. Okay, so you won't play this in PvP. Reduces the cast time of Flame Strike and Pyroblast by 20% as damage bonus. Unless this is some new cheesy G-Pie build, maybe for fire. I mean, maybe, but I don't think those numbers sound like too big of outliers to actually happen. Frost, each stack of Freezing Shatter has a 5% chance to generate an Icicle. And Glacial Spike is increased by 25%. Oh my god. Consuming Glacial Spike has a small chance to grant Glacial Spike. Shatter damage is increased by 15%. So you just spike into spike. And Shatter, that's crazy good for Frost. For Brewmaster, Breath of Fire ignites your next Keg Smash, causing it to explode on contact, dealing additional Flame Strike damage to its primary target and reduced to additional targets. I thought that was already like built into the class. Ignited Keg Smashes cause enemies struck to take 8% increased damage from your physical abilities and leave a patch of flame on the ground. It fits in the fantasy. I could have sworn that mechanic was already baseline on Brewmaster though. Mistweaver, Rising Sun Kick deals 30% increased damage, and Rushing Wind Kick's healing is increased by 100%. They nerfed the Crane healing and then did this. Rising Sun Kick and Rushing Wind Kick have a 100% chance to cause the next cast to ignore their cooldown and have their mana cost reduced by 100%. What the... I mean, I don't know what the likelihood of that happening is, but if it did, that sounds pretty crazy to get that back to back. For Windwalker, Fist of Fury strikes an additional time at the start of its channel at 50% effectiveness. Fist of Fury increases the damage of the next Rising Sun Kick by 10% or Spinning Crane Kick by 20%, stacking up to 6 times. That's going to one-shot people. What do you mean it stacks up to 6 times? 60% damage on Rising Sun Kick? That's just going to one-shot people. I guess in PvP it'd be 30, but they just nerfed all of the one-shot on the baseline, and then this is the set bonus, and they're just going to one-shot again, I feel like. Holy Paladin, Infusion of Light increases the healing of Flash of Light by an additional 75%, and the Absorb by Greater Judgment by 75%. That's really strong. That's going to give a lot of instant healing of Flash. Judgment now has a 20% chance to grant Infusion of Light. Holy Light now has a 50% chance to grant Infusion of Light as well. Okay. I mean, those sound decent. Consecration is 30% larger, and enemies in the conch are illuminated, increasing your chance for your abilities to critical strike by 5%. Enemies struck by Judgment or Crusader Strike take 20% additional holy damage. If they're struck by critical strike, the additional damage is increased by 200%. I thought we were trying to remove the spikiness. That sounds like it's going to be spiky. Retribution, Divine Purpose has an additional 10% chance to activate, and consuming it grants Divine Power, increasing holy damage by 10% for 12 seconds. So Ret just gets another modifier, but on its proc damage. Consuming Divine Purpose with Divine Storm causes your next final verdict to be free, and unleash Divine Arbiter at the target, dealing holy damage within 8 yards. It sounds fun visually, but again, kind of cooldown stacking trend. Penance, damage, and healing increased by 20%. Casting Penance reduces the cooldown of Mind Blast by 2 seconds. That is really good. After casting Mind Blast, your next Power Shield or Void Shield will also absorb 25% more damage. That's a lot of emphasis on Mind Blast with Disc on this patch. For Holy, each target affected by Renew increases your haste by 2% up to 6. Renew healing increased by 10%. Light's Resurgence now has a 100% chance to leave a Renew on the first target. Your permanent heals. Just a little bit more haste. I don't know how important getting haste will be with how high the stats are going to be. For Shadow, Tentacle Slam cooldown is reduced by 3 seconds and its damage increased by 100%. Can we make it actually apply the dots successfully? Because, like, bro. After casting Tentacle Slam, your next VT is instant, generates 4 insanity, and conjures shadowy apparitions that deal 200% more normal damage. This is a good shadow patch, but this is PTR. So, like, you being good this early doesn't, I don't think it's good. It's going to be good for you when it releases, but if they can fix Tentacle Slam applying dots and you get this plus what happened up top, okay. For Assassination, Envenom damage increased by 10% and increases your damage dealt by 3%. Deadly Poison increases your bleed damage on the target by 10%. Auto attacks against targets with your Amplifying Poison deal 2% increased damage per stack, and Wound Poison hits a second time. A second time? I mean, this seems interesting for just overall sustain, but you're kind of squishy in PvP. I don't know if you'll be able to lose that for the versatility loss to get that. Outlaw is just 15% on Dispatch. That's very boring, but if it makes you do good sustain damage, whatever. Sinister Strike and Ambush have a 12% chance to cause your next Dispatch to be free and deal damage as if you spent maximum combo points. That's fun. I want that on Boomy, bro. What the? You're just getting free big dispatches? You're a Ret Paladin, bro. Subtlety Rogue. Backstab costs 10 less energy and does 100% increased damage. See, this is filler ability getting buffed as opposed to cooldown modifier. Shuriken Storm costs 5 less energy and deals 60% increased damage. Lingering Shadow now also benefits Eviscerate and Black Powder 100% effectiveness. For Elemental, Earth Shock, Elemental Blast, and Earthquake damage got increased by 25%. That's going to be bursty. When Stormkeeper Ascendance fades, your next 2 Lightning Bolts, Chain Lightning, so Lava Burst deal 25% increased damage and cause your next Earthquake, Earth Shock, or Elemental Blast to cast costs 100% less Maelstrom. So a little bit more damage out of Ascendance. Similar trend is what they did with the Feral Set bonus, I think. Voltaic Blaze causes your primary target to erupt in a Fire Nova every 2 seconds or 6 seconds. Fire Nova is increased by 200% if it only strikes a single target. Fire Nova reduces the cooldown of Crash Lightning by 2 seconds and increases the damage of your next Crash Lightning by 8% second up to 5 times. Again, cooldown stacking, bit worried, but I think Crash Lightning is not a huge hitting ability anyways. It's just like random extra AoE and single target with they're bringing back the Fire Nova from WoD. Restoration Shaman, Healing Wave, and Chain Heal have a chance to create a healing rain at the target's location. Didn't they just talk about having a cooldown and moving it around? You can only have one of them. Is this not going to conflict with that? Every 1 second, one ally inside the healing rain gets a watery shield that absorbs X amount. God damn, Resto Shamans. You guys can't catch a break, bro. They're just obsessed with healing rain and people trying to stand in it, and they never stand in it. And, like, you guys just never win, bro. Affliction. You have a 20% chance to refund a soul shard after spending a soul shard. I feel like you have so many mechanics that just give you extra... I guess this could be really good if it works with the Jinx PP talent, though, to get instant dots out. I don't know if it will, because that might get overlooked or something, but that would be really good if it did. Each active unstable affliction increases your damage dealt by your other spells by 2% up to 6. Seed of Corruption applies unstable affliction at 50% of effectiveness. What? So you can seed and get single target? It's 50% less, but there are talents that make seed... Ooh, I don't know. In PvE, that could be interesting. PvP, I'm not sure if you'd be able to pull that off. For Demonology, Wild Imp is 10% more damage. Implosion is 20%. And when their energy depletes, Wild Imps have a 20% chance to fling themselves at the target and implode. I think that's cool. They can already kind of do that, but, you know, that's cool. Destruction, Incinerate damage increased by 25%. And Incinerate has a 10% chance to evoke Echo of Sargeras. Targets damaged by Echo Sargeras take 6% damage from Echo Sargeras. Okay, just more Incinerate damage. That's good. It's buffing a filler spell. Warrior, Mortal Strike damage increased by 10% when you slam a target. And when you slam a target, slam also deals damage to enemies within 8 yards. So we're making single target abilities AoE and AoE abilities single target in this patch too. Like, I feel like we're blurring at what everything is. Foresight, Overpower damage increased by 15%. Mortal Strike and Overpower increase the damage of your next slam by 10 second to 3 times. For Fury, Raging Blow damage increased by 15%. During Recklessness, Raging Blow extends the duration of Recklessness by 2. That's really good. I thought they just talked about not wanting to use Raging Blow, though, on the changes for Fury Warrior. That makes me think you're going to have to. Bloodthirst damage increased by 10%. And during Recklessness, Bloodthirst increases the critical strike bonus of Reckless by 5 up to 10. Okay. Free Revenges deal 15% additional damage, cause your next Shield Slam to deal 20% additional damage. That sounds good for prod. Ravager and your Free Revenges cause all targets to bleed for X damage over 12 seconds. Prod Warrior sounds cool in this patch. I don't. Oh, this is PvP. Where's the PvP? Here it is. The training grounds we talked about, so you'll be able to play against bots. That's great. And they're nerfing snares. I've complained about this ever since Legion. Because in BFA, they reverted every good PvP change they did in Legion that made Legion so amazing. They just decided that it'll be better for the game if they removed all of them. And one of them was that they nerfed snares. Because my God, bro, when you're moving 70% slower in a battleground arena, you just can't, God damn, I don't want to walk that slow, bro. I'm a bit worried about it because they're nerfing not just the Omega snares, they're nerfing even the regular ones. So like Chains of Ice is a 50% snare now, which is massive. And Feeble is only 20%. Like, was this? I don't know if this is necessary. Anything below 50, I don't know if it needed to be nerfed. Anything above 50, felt like it did. But I guess this is that Chains is still technically stronger. Maybe you're still feel like you're. I mean, it feels like you're moving really slow when it's above 70%. They're nerfing just snares across the board. Every class, Magus of the Dead snares, Fellscarred snares. They did not miss a beat with this. Just every single snare, even Typhoon. And Thorns. They added Dispel Protection as well for Boomies, which is nice. All the snares removed some PvP towns people weren't taking. Infected Wounds on Feral. So Feral snare is very weak. Or at least Guardian. Wait, where's Feral? Doesn't Feral also have that? I could have sworn Feral also has that. Did I forget one? Or are they okay with Feral having that slow? Ancient of Lore PvP talent has returned. Shapeshifting into an Ancient of Lore. Why? I thought we were trying to remove cooldowns and make healing outside of cooldowns better. Why are we bringing back the Giga Tree? I don't understand that. That seems like it's going against what they were trying to do up above. For Evoker, Unburdened Flight was frustrating players to deal with, particularly capture the flags. With this new design, slowing an Evoker with hover active will still have the effect of canceling out the Evoker's speed bonuses. The goal is to balance Evoker's kiting capabilities while still keeping them mobile and slippery. Unburdened Flight now causes hover to prevent movement abilities being reduced below 100 rather than making you immune. So you'll still move it. I feel like that could be a big nerf. I mean, maybe it needed to be done, but that could have huge impact, I think, to all three Evoker specs. Movement snare reductions across Hunter. My God, there was a random bunch of pet abilities that had snares. For Mage, oh, they nerfed all the Frost Mage stuff. What? We're only nerfing the Frost Mage slow to 70? Why? What is this one? Does that have to do with like Cone of Cold or something? If that doesn't have to do with Cone of Cold, I'm gonna get mad. Why is that one 70? I don't like seeing 70. And then for Monk, movement speed reduced from 70 to 50. I'm just trying to see if anything was missed here. They even got Lightsmith mobility in here. Mind Flay also got nerfed. So Shadow Snares got nerfed. Siphon as well. Crippling Poison, thank God. Oh my God, this is the most egregious snare in the game. And System Shock. See, I'm okay with these ones that are like resource dependent, and also makes System Shock like a more appealing thing. Something that's manual, significant cooldown, like decent investment, can be 70%. Passive AoE Blizzard? Oh, hell no. No. Distracting Mirage is 50%. We got some Shaman Snare reduction as well, even including the Hex one. Dampening now causes Dark Pact to decrease the amount of health it sacrifices. So it'll absorb less, but cost less also, so it's a bit better in dampening. But they also nerfed your snares by a lot, which is huge for Warlock. Piercing Howl got targeted. You never take it. Fell Fissure also got nerfed. So hopefully we're going to be moving a little bit faster. Oh, Storm of Destruction staying at 50, though. But they didn't nerf Hamstring. So what is Hamstring? Still 50? Or maybe it was only 30. I'm not sure. I think it's good that they're lowering that. You can tell by how many they've listed here that maybe something was missed. I think the most egregious outliers are listed here, and this was the last really annoying thing, at least with CC, was just like waddling around the map everywhere. So we're not going to waddle anymore. But this is the most like, the goals of this patch are so massive on such a limited time frame. I want to believe it's possible, but this video is over an hour long. This is the longest patch video I've ever done. And I don't know if it's 100% on the money, with the tuning or not. That's crazy. So we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to go on the PTR. We're going to have to test things, and I'll keep updating you guys as things go along. So thank you guys for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.